So I'm Fernanda Prata, or Fifi, and my background, I am a lecturer at Northern. I'm also the course leader for the MA Interdisciplinary Dance Performance at Northern School of Contemporary Dance.
I'm Florence Peake. I'm a visual artist, choreographer and dancer. I work between art forms. My work is mainly presented in visual art contexts. I've been working in performance for 30 years, but mainly being presented within art galleries, art institutions, and the public realm. Your Meaning, Not Your Materiality is a piece about objects, sculpture, and their invisible double. The idea that objects might have ghosts. The idea of a void that happens when the energy or the soul leaves the body. The idea of how in death or with loss, these spaces that are created through loss become these kind of vitalities.
So we're performing in Leeds Art Gallery. We're basically creating like an installation performance for 1 hour. It kind of touches on themes of loss and grief. I guess it's like very open to the audience, kind of like what you take from it.
So Florence is an amazing interdisciplinary artist, and she works a lot with visual arts and the body. And she works with a lot of different materials such as clay or plaster, paint, and how the body evolves and interacts with these materials.
So none of us had ever worked with this material, ever. So it was quite like nerve-wracking to start.
The first time I got casted underneath the Hessian, I've never experienced anything like that before.
It creates a really interesting movement dynamic, kind of like the struggle of pulling yourself out, because your clothes often get a bit stuck to the plaster, and then sort of the struggle of pushing out and almost birthing yourself from this structure of yourself is really interesting.
Usually, I think in their degrees, in the past degrees, they were just used to this audience that are just sitting far away in a proscenium arch theatre, and now they are working with the audience just right there and seeing them from different angles. So they had to start to understand this performance state that is just being, that this is enough and that's interesting to observe.
It's beyond kind of my wildest dream to have this kind of exciting new approach to the work. We've worked with music, we've worked with text, we've worked with songs through different writing processes that I've facilitated, and they've engaged so imaginatively with the materials and in such an open way, from going live casting, live sculptural processes into singing, love songs to sculptures, serenading sculptures. It's beautiful.
With IDP, it's very much being confident with other aspects as well as your body and movement, which is really interesting. And then working with how you can manipulate other textures, other props and things like that to move as well. I think it's really expanded my idea of what a dancer is, and I think that's really important, especially freelancing at the moment. I think you want to be able to have as much underneath your belt as possible.
I think you can expect to see a very diverse compilation of artistic things. So it's live material, which is the plaster and the paint. It's dancing, it's movement, singing, and vocal use of the voice, and instruments. It's just everything in one performance. Yeah, it's just a beautiful space, and it's been a privilege to be able to be here and create this piece.
I think it's a work where you can sort of just let yourself be immersed into the world and become really invested in sort of live processes that you might not get to see in a general sense, like mixing plaster, something that I've never done before or seen before. And I think it's quite an interesting thing just to watch the pedestrian sort of action of mixing plaster and placing it on someone, and watching how fast it dries and how the material hardens around someone, and at 1 minute it's sort of fluid and the next minute you can't push past it anymore. So I think watching all those details for me is my favourite part of the work, when I get to watch parts of it.
You can expect to see some really weird scenes, some really random things going on. You can expect to see like excessiveness. You can expect to see something really simple and detailed. You can expect to see something functional, like a lot of like functionality and practicality of things, but you can also expect to see something which is really performed and dancey at the same time.